Good morning, everyone. Darius Dale here to present our macro minute for Thursday, November 11th, 2021. Starting with markets, we got stocks up this morning, commodities mixed, crypto up, the dollar up, global bond yields mixed. Our bond market has the day off for Veterans Day. Big movers, China, the MSCI Emerging Market Index, copper, nat gas, and silver all up 1 to 1.5% respectively. Bitcoin and Ethereum up 2 and 4% respectively. You got WTI down 1%. On the economic front, I think it's important to continue to unpack yesterday's October CPI report out of the U.S. economy. We've been looking at everything on a SARR basis because the year-over-year statistics are obviously quite noisy with the year-over-year comps from last year. So looking at headline CPI, that accelerated to an 11.9% SARR. That's the highest SARR we've seen since 13.3% in June of 2008. Core CPI, that accelerated to a 7.4% seasonally adjusted annualized rate. That's the highest SARR we've seen since the 11.1% rate of June of this year. So not too scary there. On sticky CPI, so this is concerning, 5.9% SARR. That's the highest we've seen since the 8.3% SARR of January of 1991. Shelter CPI, obviously a big component of sticky CPI, that accelerated to a 5.6% SARR. That's the highest we've seen since 6.1% SARR of June of this year, so not too scary there. But median CPI, to me, that's always been the story on inflation. That accelerated, taking it to the chart here, that accelerated to a 7.1% SARR here. You can see that going all the way back, as far back as we can get the data for this time series, that's an all-time high. And so that tells you that the price pressures in the U.S. economy are broadening out. This is a complication for the Biden agenda. We're already starting to see that have political implications down in D.C. We'll get some more tea leaves on that in the coming weeks. Was that the peak, though? Is that the peak in inflation? Where will inflation be in January when the Fed has to redeliberate the pace of QE? Where will it be in July of next year when they have to debate on the timing of liftoff? You know, we're going to update our projections in our leadoff morning note today. Subscribe if you want to get those views. Today's risk reward setup, overbought. You get the dollar overbought relative to Canadian loonie, oversold nat gas, Aussie dollar, the 10-year Boone yield, the 10-year JGB yield, and the 10-year gilt yield. With respect to the risk reward setup, you got verified in the S&P 500 minus 1.6% downside versus 1.6% upside. WTI's got a little bit more upside than downside, 4.1% downside versus 9.4% upside to the upper boundary of its probable range. Bloomberg Dollar Index minus 1.3% downside versus 0.5% upside. And then the 10-year Treasury yield down 7 basis points of downside versus 22 basis points of upside. But I mentioned our bond market is closed. Happy Veterans Day for all of you guys out there who celebrate. We can't thank the men and women of our armed forces enough. You guys have the courage to do some very brave things. And that courage, that bravery really empowers us to do some things that we love. And we appreciate you guys for that. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day out there.